Welcome Trinidad and Tobago to our News 4 report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited. I'm Nicola Barreto. Let's take a look at the headlines. Prime Minister returns from the Summit of the Americas. Launch of Student Voluntary Center at UTT. And Caledonia grateful to Sports Company of Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you for joining us. Let's take a look at our top story. Prime Minister the Honorable Kamla Persad-Bissassa is describing her trip to the 6th Summit of the Americas held in Colombia over the weekend as immensely important to investment here in Trinidad and Tobago. Speaking upon her arrival, Prime Minister Persad-Bissassa noted that several Central and South American countries have expressed deep interest in local manufacturers and exporters. Kimberly Ramkalawan reports.
Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissassa has hailed her trip to this year's Summit of the Americas in Colombia as a success. The PM returned Wednesday evening, describing her meeting as fruitful.
It was of great importance for us, given our strategy now of engaging Central America, South America, Latin America, and indeed marketing Trinidad and Tobago to investors in the Americas and positioning Trinidad and Tobago as a gateway to the Americas. I must say we were well received, and we want to thank all those with whom we interfaced at Cartagena in Colombia.
The visit is said to have also resulted in Prime Minister Persad-Bissassa signing agreements with the Andean Development Bank for loans for infrastructural projects.
The partnership between TNT and the CAF is not a one-way street. There are many shared benefits to be accrued. TNT is already a part in championing the CAF's presence here in the Caribbean. Trinidad and Tobago first became a Series C shareholder of the CAF in 1994, and we have remained at that level since. We never really upgraded our participation in the CAF, and so we are very happy in 2012. We've been able to take us from the 1994 C Series holder to where we are today.
She added that talks were held on reducing crime in the region.
The fact that we need to collaborate, we need to cooperate, because all our countries are facing the same scourge coming out of narco trafficking in Central America, out of South America. And so my Minister of National Security, of course, we will have further discussions with him and other security officials in Trinidad and Tobago as we partner with our South American and Central American counterparts to fight this great disaster and this great scourge of narco trafficking and all crimes related.
The Prime Minister expressed optimism in the Summit of the Americas trip, saying that relations with members of the OAS had deepened as a result. Kimberly Ramkalawan, News 4.
When we come back, Minister Fazal Karim implores students to get involved in community projects.
Civilian Conservation Corps, CCC, now recruiting candidates for its upcoming cycle. Join our training program, military-led, national in scope.
Environment conserving, disaster response training, flora and fauna preserving, and life skill training. If you want to do better, change your life over, Civilian Conservation Corps has opened doors. You like plumbing? You like welding?
Call us now at 625-4CCC. That's 625-4222. Or contact us at the CCC office in your region. For further information, check us out on Facebook. Search for Civilian Conservation Corps. The Civilian Conservation Corps, getting youth ready for life.
Personal music players can stop you from being aware of your surroundings. Always be aware of your surroundings and periodically look over your shoulder to prevent anyone from sneaking up on you. Remember, crime prevention is everyone's business. A message from the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service.
You ever wonder what we just do on a daily basis? Well, let me enlighten you on some of our roles and responsibilities. Our hours of work are from 10 to half 5. We also scan and mark beaches with flags. Advise beachgoers on safety and safety measures. Regional Administrator first say that CPR when necessary. One of our main priority is to take all preventative measures and to respond to all beach emergencies and rescues. We also monitor water conditions as well as weather conditions because you don't want to be caught in rain and all of a sudden, whoosh! Lightning strike and cut you a new mohawk. So people, be beat smart.
Thank you for staying with us. Science, Technology and Tertiary Education Minister Senator Fazal Karim is urging tertiary education students to become more integrated within their communities and society as a whole. He was speaking at the launch of the Students' Social Responsibility and Volunteerism Center at the UTT's O'Meara campus, where several NGOs were in attendance. Verna Bath reports.
Students are being encouraged to explore all aspects of volunteerism and to work together with several non-governmental organizations. Speaking at the launch of the Student Social Responsibility and Volunteerism Center at UTT, Science, Technology and Tertiary Education Minister Senator Fazal Karim says involvement in community service enhances a student's experience. He was addressing students at the UTT O'Meara campus, where several NGOs were also present.
It is a common fact that involvement in community service, much of which you would have heard about this evening, enriches a student experience. Social interaction is an effective method for learning about different types of individuals and gaining understanding, respect and tolerance for each other, among the watchwords of our beloved country. Tolerance, my dear friends, for one another's differences improves society as a whole.
Minister Karim is also underscoring the importance of implementing social responsibility and volunteerism into the lives of youths. He emphasizes that this is a critical area of focus in light of the current rise in school violence and other ills that are prevalent among the youth in society. Minister Karim says acquiring social responsibility will bring with it valuable personal returns with intrinsic benefits as well as extrinsic rewards for the recipient of the service. He adds that individuals and communities alike benefit from a sense of worth and belongingness that arise from the involvement in voluntary service. The Tertiary Education Minister adds that active community involvement is closely linked to high academic achievement and interest in further education. Furthermore, he says there are added benefits of enhanced problem-solving skills, the ability to work in teams, and learning how to plan and successfully execute project goals.
Our school system today, as we have been reading in the newspapers and looking on at the television, is plagued in some cases by incidents of school violence and bullying. Indeed, these acts of violence have now transcended the physical world as recent occurrences of cyberbullying have come to the fore. It is our duty to therefore introduce this concept of student social responsibility and volunteerism into the lives of our students in their most formative and youthful stage.
The Student Social Responsibility and Volunteerism Center is expected to provide a wide array of community service and volunteering opportunities that will foster an appreciation and an understanding of individual social responsibility. Minister Karim says the launch of the initiative will foster societal development and the enhancement of individuals, families and communities throughout Trinidad and Tobago. UTT student Andre Mangatal also performed at the launch. Verna Barath, News 4.
Prime Minister, the Honorable Kamla Prasad Bisasa, says she looks forward to meeting with Panamanian officials next week as they come to Trinidad and Tobago to complete agreements for the supply of oil and gas products on their shelves in Panama. The Prime Minister made the disclosure following her return from Cartagena, Colombia. Kimberly Ramkalawan reports.
Trinidad and Tobago's thrust into Latin America will receive an additional boost as a delegation from Panama will visit TNT next week. Discussions will focus on cooperation in energy between the two countries. Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar disclosed the news to reporters following her return from Colombia, where she attended the 6th Summit of the Americas. The Prime Minister said that energy officials in Panama have noted interest in introducing NP products into their market.
What is good for us is that they want to buy our products. And this is very good. It's not that they just want to sell us things. And once they buy, it means it's increased revenue for Trinidad and Tobago. So we can expand our capacity. They're interested in propane, butane. They're interested in buying the products of NP. They're interested in NP establishing a plant, a blending plant, Minister. And what was the second one? A bottling plant, LPG for LPG in Panama. So tremendous opportunities opening up for us, as I say, in Central Latin America.
Prime Minister Persad-Bissessar added that a team of business partners from Panama will visit Trinidad and Tobago next month.
His Excellency has confirmed, His Excellency President Ricardo Martinelli has confirmed that he will be attending our Caribbean Investment Forum in the month of May, 14-15, and the TIC. He has agreed that he will bring a team of private and public sector persons. He started off saying at the beginning of our conversation, he'll bring 7. By the time we ended, he said 12, and by the time I was leaving, he said about 15 persons. So we look for a very strong contingent, delegates coming out of Panama, and President Martinelli will in fact be a keynote speaker at the Caribbean Investment Forum later in May, 14-15.
The agreement is said to hold benefits not only to Trinidad and Tobago, but Caribbean states as well. Kimberly Ram-Calawan, News 4.
When we come back, senior citizens get further assistance in the payment of their plans.
From the Ministry of National Security, Office of Disaster Preparedness and Management.
Welcome back. Senior citizens can now benefit from further assistance in the payment of their utility bills. This following the announcement by Public Utilities Minister Senator Emmanuel George, who says that government has approved a 100% subsidy over water and electricity bills. John Victor has the story.
Cabinet has approved free electricity and water for senior citizens. The move comes after the Prime Minister made a promise earlier this year. Public Utilities Minister Senator Emmanuel George made the announcement at this week's Cabinet briefing.
Cabinet today agreed to double the subsidy to the beneficiaries under the Utilities Assistance Program. The difference is that in addition to the assistance with respect to paying their water bills, people now have assistance in paying part of their electricity bills.
He added that it comes as a result of subsidizing the water and electricity by 100% for old age pensioners, as well as the poor and low-income persons on social assistance who currently fall under the Utilities Assistance Program.
Our research has indicated that under the water subsidy, the average subsidy paid was $70 per year. That $70 will now be increased to $140 per year for persons under the program. The research also revealed that on average, the subsidy for electricity was $100 per year. And that subsidy will now be increased $200 per year for persons under that program. So the government is continuing to assist persons at the lower end of the economic ladder in accessing some of these basic human needs.
The minister assured that the program will continue to be revised for the benefit of citizens.
People who are in receipt of public assistance and pensions and who are at the lower end of the economic ladder. The Cabinet agreed then in September 2010 that the program would be evaluated annually to determine the success of the program. We will continue to monitor the program and consider in due course whether other arrangements could be made to improve that subsidy to the beneficiaries under the program.
The Utilities Assistance Program is a social intervention strategy introduced by the government in 2010, which provides financial assistance to eligible citizens to ensure their continued access to basic utilities such as water and electricity. The program is aimed at enhancing the real income of beneficiaries by cushioning the effects of the rising cost of public utilities. John Victor, News 4.
Well, it's time now for a sport feature. The Citizen Security Program's objective is to contribute to the reduction of violence and crime. It has identified 22 high-needs communities throughout Trinidad and Tobago where various initiatives are being implemented. 5 of those communities are in the Morval Laventille area. But as you will see in this Wayne Cunningham report, there are some lights shining brightly in this community with the help of the Sport Company of Trinidad and Tobago.
Morval Laventille has always had a strong sporting tradition. The community continues to shine in the arena, but recently the brightest light is Caledonia AIA Football Club. The Pro League outfit is presently enjoying a rich vein of success, and Technical Director Jamal Shabazz insists that identifying with the community is a big part of that success.
I think Caledonia AIA can be best described as a shining light in the darkness of Morval Laventille, you know. This is how I like to describe it. Undoubtedly, you know, Morval Laventille is a hot spot, and you know, I am proud of our group, because in the heights of the state of emergency, with the you know, complaints of police brutality, complaints of profiling, our team was able to put aside all that turbulence that was happening in Morval Laventille, and we won the first Citizens Cup tournament.
Caledonia AIA has qualified for the Caribbean Club Championship, and they are preparing to go all the way to the Champions League.
Our guys make a lot of sacrifice, the coaching staff, Jerry Moore, Travis Mulray, and the players, we make a lot of sacrifice. For the last 2 years, we didn't celebrate Christmas nor Carnival. We trained throughout those periods, and it showed by the results that we've been getting. We were able to win the First Citizens Cup. We were able to win the FA Trophy. We finished third in the league. We qualified for the Caribbean Club Championships. This is a new preparation. Guys we're training on a Monday twice a day. We're making a lot of effort because we want to go all the way to CONCACAF.
Coach Shabazz said it's fortunate that the sports company recognized the club's potential and readily assisted with logistics and financial support.
I think we got to thank the sports company and Trinidad and Tobago, the Ministry of Sports, and by extension the current Minister of Sport, Anil Roberts, because everybody is talking, everybody is saying it's a hot spot, it's this, it's violence, it's this, but how to cool the spot? Nobody doesn't talk how to cool the hot spot, how to throw water. What is the coolant that you're going to use to cool down a hot spot like Mova Lavantil? And I think the support that we get from the sports company and Trinidad and Tobago.
As a fellow coach, Shabazz welcomes the hands-on approach of the Minister of Sport, as well as the operations of the sport company.
Generally, the moral support we get from somebody like him being in sport, being a coach, the advice that he would give, I think is tremendous. And this is not a paid political announcement. We find that, a closer interaction, with the sports company, less bureaucracy, more action done from the Minister of Sport in particular. Why I make this point? Because Mova Lavantil is a PNM area. And when the minister could put aside party affiliation and help, our people, we had to applaud that and be grateful for that. Because, with all this talk, ask Anil and all this kind of thing, we ask Anil, and he helped we, and, we happy for that.
We'll have more from the FA Trophy champions in a subsequent newscast. Wayne Cunningham, News 4 Sports.
News 4 continues right after the break. Stay with us.
Hey, you ever wonder what we just do on a daily basis? Well, let me enlighten you on some of our roles and responsibilities. Our hours of work are from 10 to 5:30. We also scan and mark beaches with flags. Advise beachgoers on safety and safety measures. We will administer first aid and CPR when necessary. One of our main priorities is to take all preventative measures and to respond to all beach emergencies and rescues. We also monitor water conditions as well as weather conditions because you don't want to be caught in the rain and all of a sudden, whoosh! Lightning strike you and cut you a new mohawk. So people, be beat smart.
There's a spark of greatness in each of us. That spark is called personality. Individual gifts and talents provide the fuel to set that spark ablaze. Each child has the right to an education which values their personality and nurtures their talents, while teaching them to be respectful to their parents and their cultures.
The Civilian Conservation Corps, CCC, now recruiting candidates for its upcoming cycle. Join our training program, military-led, national in scope.
Conserving, disaster response training, flora and fauna preserving, and life skill training. If you want to do better, change your life over. Civilian Conservation Corps has opened doors. You like plumbing? You like welding?
Call us now at 625-4CCC. That's 625-4222. Or contact us at the CCC office in your region. For further information, check us out on Facebook. Search for Civilian Conservation Corps. The Civilian Conservation Corps, getting youth ready for life.
The first consultation on the establishment of a Heroes Park and Museum in Faizabad was held at the OWTU Hall in Faizabad, where several labor leaders and a government minister came together to discuss the significance of such a development in this country. Verna Barath has the story.
Speaking at the first consultation on the establishment of a Heroes Park and Museum in Faizabad, where several ministers of government and labor leaders gathered, GISL's CEO and chairman of the event, Mr. Andy Johnson, highlighted numerous struggles which were fought over the decades for Faizabad to be established as the epicenter of labor activity in this country. He adds that government's idea to establish a Heroes Park and Museum in Faizabad would create an ideal avenue to provide information on the labor movement and to also recognize the contributions of labor legends and stalwarts who have played key roles in shaping the labor history of this country.
The concept of a Heroes Park and Museum in Faizabad is born out of the absence of a repository of archival material related to the history of the labor movement in Trinidad and Tobago, and a permanent mechanism to share information on and recognize the contributions of labor stalwarts who laid the foundation for the realization of decent work. And those persons include the late great Tubal Uriah Buzz Butler, Andy Bihari, Elmer Francois, Dora Bridge-Mohan, Adrian Colarenzi, Total Walcott, and of course George Weeks. And those are just some of them.
President of the Federation of Independent Trade Unions, FITUN, and member of the MSJ, Senator David Abdullah, says the year 2012 is central to this country's history in light of the commemoration of two very significant anniversaries.
This year, 2012, is a double jubilee year. We commemorate, of course, the 50th anniversary of the independence of Trinidad and Tobago, and we also commemorate the 75th anniversary of the birth of the modern trade union movement and of the historic events which took place right here at this junction on the 19th of June, which was the start of the Butler riots, some people call them, that very important general strike and mass revolt that began the transformation of Trinidad and Tobago.
Senator Abdullah described the steps which were taken for transformation in the democracy and rights of the working force by individuals who saw it necessary. He adds that their struggles are now all part of history.
75 years ago, at this very junction on the 19th of June, ordinary working people took their destiny into their own hands and created history by way of direct action, making sacrifices, engaging in a struggle, not just for improved wages and terms and conditions of employment, but also to transform the social and economic and political landscape of our country. For the fight then was for home rule or for independence and self-government.
FITUN's president also reflected on the deplorable living conditions which were imposed on citizens before their persistent efforts could initiate any kind of positive change to their lifestyles.
The conditions of the day, people living in barrack yards, no public hospitals, no health centers, many people not being able to access primary education, far less secondary or tertiary education. Conditions which E.R. Blades, our first General Secretary, described to me as totally horrendous. Those were the conditions which ordinary working people decided to change, and change it they did.
Verna Barath, News 4.
Well, that's how we wrap up this edition of our News 4 report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited. I'm Nicola Barito. Thank you for joining us.